In a stunning revelation, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has determined that only 294 USAID employees are necessary out of the 14,000 employees. The entire agencies will be eminently reduced from 14,000 to 294 employees. This has to be the biggest mass firing yet. The USAID story is way bigger than most people realizes. It's the deep-seated corruption within the USAID itself. But the real story isn't just about the layoffs. This agency didn't just misallocate taxpayers' dollars. It also actively funded the mainstream media outlets like Politico and the New York Times to shape the public's perception. It's not just that they funded Politico, New York Times, and others, but then the articles in those publications were used as sources all over CNN, NBC, News, and others to further push their agenda. This is how they launder all the lies. This is not just about the media being biased, no. It's about a well-orchestrated propaganda laundering scheme designed to manipulate the American public. The same governments that claim to uphold democracy were secretly sponsoring narratives that serves Biden and Harris administration while suppressing and opposing view, whether they were conservative, independent journalists, or political opponents like President Donald Trump. What was their end goal? They want to be in total control of the narrative. Their beneficiaries are no other than the Democratic Party, their corporate allies, and the entrenched bureaucratic elite. Do you care to know who the victims are? It's every American citizen fed with a steady diet of misinformation under the guise of news. The USAID scandal is not just about wasted taxpayers' dollars. It's about a massive government-backed propaganda machine set out to manipulate the public opinion and control narratives. Funding outlets like Politico and New York Times isn't about paying for favorable coverage. It was about creating a feedback loop of manufactured truths. Here is how it worked. USAID funded media outlets, then published the stories Biden and Harris administration wanted. Those same articles will then be cited by CNN, NBC, and other left-leaning networks as independent reporting, laundering government-funded propaganda into what appears to be objective journalism. This isn't about being biased. It's outright deception. The same people screaming about democracy are the ones quietly undermining it by turning the free press into a government mouthpiece. This is no longer journalism. It's state-sponsored disinformation at a level that will make authoritarian regime jealous. And now that it's been exposed, panic are setting. No wonder they want Dodge shut down. They are terrified of what else will be uncovered, because when the truth finally comes to light, the real question wouldn't just be about USAID. It would then be about how deep this deception really goes. Reports indicate that Politico failed to pay its employees for the first time in its history. First time ever, the company missed a pay period, signaling a significant financial crisis. According to sources, Politico, a news company which has spent the last 10 years trying to destroy the MAGA. For decades, they have been opposing the MAGA movement and was being heavily funded by USAID. And these funds are now tied up due to actions taken by President Donald Trump and Elon Musk. As a result, Politico may now be on a verge of collapse. The corruption is endless. The image below is what Politico sent to all their employees. No one got paid. Politico's corrupt management blame this on a glitch and not on their government gravy train ending. State propaganda collapsing. Ironically, the amount of federal funding that poured into Politico increased exponentially after they successfully laundered the deep state CIA election rigging propaganda against President Trump. This situation raises broader questions about the intersection of the media, government influence, and financial stability.